Hi, everyone, and thanks for joining us today. How are you doing? It's been a minute, it's been a little bit of a minute since we had our inspirational moment. So it's really awesome to be back here today. And of course, what we love to do is inspire you guys. And I'm sorry we don't have your regular hostess with us today, Lee. She's not feeling too well. So you guys drop a word of prayer. She's getting back on her feet. So you're going to see her real soon. And I have a lovely, lovely someone special here with me today. And I am super excited. I've been sharing this with everyone. So please settle down. I'm going to introduce a lovely lady, very special someone, and she's going to inspire us today. We're just going to have a bit of a chit chat and, talk to her, find out about her career journey. So since January, the first half of the year, Precious Pearl, we do a lot around career. And before I introduce Zainab, I've been drinking from one of my favorite cups, Career Nuggets. And so you guys know that we work with Career Nuggets. We sponsor people to do coaching with Career Nuggets. And we share the testimony of a lovely member, one of us now, who got a job after going through that coaching program. Another round of coaching is coming up in January. So every first half of the year, we'll focus on career because we want you guys to have a wonderful career. We want your journey to, we want you to excel. We want you to reach the highest that you can achieve in your career journey. And that's one of the reasons why we have Zainab here today. She's done some great stuff in her career, and we're going to be chit-chatting with her in a couple of minutes. In July, we have a workshop webinar coming up on the 22nd of July. The flyers are going to go out soon. You guys need to attend. And we have Sister Morenike Ajayi. She's the founder of Career Nuggets. She's an awesome lady. She got her MBE so this year or last year, which is pretty awesome because she's done some amazing things in the community. She's going to be hosting this, and she's going to be teaching us a lot about how to advance our career. The title is Future Proofing Your Career. And if you want to really, really get to the pinnacle of success in your career, you must join that workshop webinar. You don't want to miss it. So let's get back in here once again, and I'll be introducing the lovely Zainab. Zainab, lovely to meet you today. Thanks for joining us today. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. It's an honor to be on this actually, and you guys are doing really, really cool stuff. And actually, the workshop, I definitely want to be a part of that next year, in
Awesome.
July. So yeah, why?
That's fantastic. Thank you so much. And yes, just share it with your friends as well. So great, so great. So if you're watching this right now, please share with your friends, share in your circles. We want more people to join in. And so you can watch on the live. Even if you're not on the Zoom itself, you can ask your questions on the live. Someone will be checking those questions. I will be checking those questions as well. If you have any questions for Zainab, please type it in the comment section below and we'll get back to it at some point before the end of this webinar. So I'll just quickly read a little bit of information background that I have about Zainab, and I hope it's correct. It has to be, right? So who's Zainab Adigun? Zainab Adigun studied B engineering, that's Bachelor in Engineering, in Civil Engineering at Brunel University. Then she went on to get a master's in Structural Engineering on the Women in Engineering full scholarship. Wow, awesome. Zainab designs new buildings, wow, and small refurbishment projects across all sectors. As a social value champion and EDI team member for organizations, she helps to define strategy and delivers on social value commitments. Zainab volunteers as a board member. She wears many hats for the Association for Black and Ethnic Minority Engineers, AFBE, where she's a team leader for the Making Engineering Hut, which works for young people, work with young people from Black and other ethnic minority groups to expose them to careers in engineering. Recently, Zainab was listed as one of 100 finalists for the Top Women in Engineering 2002 awards, as recognition on her contribution in encouraging females to consider a career in engineering. She's also won the CN and NCE Inspiring Women in Construction and Engineering Excellence in Outreach Awards. Wow. Oh, that's a lot of achievements there, Zainab. Congratulations and well done. I don't really see lots of women in engineering, so it's really, a great thing to see someone in engineering as a female and who's won so many awards. And you're doing so much for the community as well, because, Precious Girl, we're all about empowering our community, especially the BAME community. Most of us are part of that community. So that's awesome. So can I ask my first question?
Sure.
I think I've been doing a lot of talking. I know we can't wait to hear Zainab, right? So the first question is, can you tell us a bit about yourself, your background, and yeah?
Sure. Well, I'm from a Nigerian background. Both my parents are Nigerian. I was born and raised in the UK. I've got two boys. They're 3 years old. And I'm currently working as a senior structural engineer.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. Can you tell us about your career journey? How did you become an engineer? Is it something you always wanted to become? Or is it something that you stumbled in? Or is it something that, the path just was just very clear? For some people, the path is very clear. And for some people, it feels like you're stumbling around a little bit before you finally decide, okay, this is what I want to do.
No, sure.
So
I love that question, and I think, to be fair, I guess in a nutshell, it was quite clear. So, I just, as a person, I love like being practical. I'm very hands-on and quite nosy, very like, yeah, wanted to know how things are done and how things are made. And
okay.
also not too bad at math. So as I was growing up, so I grew up on a council estate, and I used to so there's 6 blocks like sort of dotted around the area, and I used to wonder, there's 16 stories tall, so that's about I don't know, about 40 meters tall. So I used to
Wow.
wonder, how the hell does it all stand up? Like, they're so big, they're so tall, and they stand like without anything sort of holding it in place. And that's what actually sparked my interest in engineering. But at that point, I didn't know that I wanted to study specifically structural engineering. So I sort of doing maths, being not too bad at maths, went on to do A level. So at the point I chose my A level subjects, I knew I wanted to study civil engineering. But it's such a broad subject, because civil engineering includes bridges, roads, geotechnical engineering. So that's about the ground, and the conditions of the ground, like the soil. And you've got water as well. So there's a lot of stuff in civil engineering. And then you've got the buildings, which is what I specialize in right now. And then it was actually up until the point where I did my master's, when I got offered to do a full scholarship, that I realized actually structural engineering is what I love, because it took me back to what my interest in buildings and being able to build what we see around us and making sure they all stand up. And it's not just about building buildings to make it stand up, but it's also about building buildings that people really need, such as hospitals and schools, etc. And that's what I'm quite passionate about.
Oh, awesome. And I like how you've told that story. And I can see that it started from when you were little, having an inquisitive mind. And, I think the blessing when you're able to know what you're good at quite early, right? And you're able to put all of that together to channel to what you want to become, because that's what some of us struggled with growing up in Nigeria. We have parents who looked at us and said, you know what, I want my first child to be a medical doctor, and I want the second one to be an accountant, and the third one. So, there's all the external forces rather than looking at the child and being like, oh, what are you good at? What do you enjoy doing?
I must
Right.
say, actually, when I said to my mum, or I went to, and I tell this story all the time because it's always so relevant. I said to my mum, I want to be an engineer. She goes, why do you want to do that? That's for men. And it's like, I didn't really understand what she meant, but it's not because, she doesn't want me to be great, but she just has that ideology about what engineering is about. And she's been put into a box. And almost, if I wasn't as tenacious as I was, and
Mm.
a bit of a rebel, I guess, I would have almost fallen out of that, which would have been a big
Mm.
shame. But I said to my dad, and he was like, yeah, go for it. Like, why wouldn't you want to do that? He was a bit more outgoing, but So it's so your parents really do have such a big impact on where you go and how you
Yeah.
go. And it's really important for parents to educate themselves to make sure that they understand the different, there's a whole big world out of there outside of being a doctor, an accountant, even an engineer. There's so many different disciplines and different roles. So
Absolutely, absolutely. If a parent is listening, or like someone, a child that's just finishing the GCS is thinking, because my daughter just did her last exam yesterday, how would you advise them to open up the world and break those stereotypes? What would you advise them to do? What can they do to, because like you said, that's a really big deal. And lots of parents don't realize that we're narrowing or boxing our children in rather than opening up the world for them, So what would be your advice?
my advice is like, just especially being a parent myself, is expose my kids to every single thing as much as I can. So there's so many
Wow.
different workshops that you can attend, like even talks like this, getting them to start to listen, just drop those little nuggets about the different things they can do. I don't know, take them to like race games where they can see things, like, the race cars, or take them to like workshops where there's different sorts of areas where you've got industries like painting and construction and that kind of stuff. It's just about really exposing them and giving them the best world that they can. And so it helps them to know, oh, there's so many things, and hopefully then you start to nurture them to narrow it down, because obviously there's a big wild world out there.
Yeah,
You don't want to confuse them at the same time. So it's just about the exposure in a nutshell.
exposure. Wow, that's a great one. So if you're listening, you have young kids or you plan to have kids someday, it's really important to get them inspired by just exposing them to so many things and not cage them in too much, or like try to just, just break down the stereotypes basically. So what has been so my next question is going to be, how did you know that was the path for you? But I think you sort of answered that, with your journey. So what was your greatest career motivation? What has been your greatest career motivation?
A really, really good question. I think the fear of failing in life in general is very is what really motivates me. I don't know. And I think Nigerian parents know how to put this in your mind, like,
Scare you,
can't fail,
like
can't fail. And I really hope I do that to
you
my
don't
kids
want
as
to
well.
go work in McDonald's. Better face it.
You don't want to end up in McDonald's. And honestly, as a parent, although there's some things I wouldn't take from the way that my parents parented me, that is something I definitely want to take. Because for instance, during my A levels, I think because I usually coast through education, I usually like average at a B without working too hard. But when I went into A levels, that shocked me for six and knocked me, because I did my A levels and I came out with like D's, like all D's and U's. And then I called mom and my sister. My sister was like, Monty, what am I gonna do? And she's like, she didn't know what to say. Obviously, I had to go and tell my mom and my dad. And you can imagine.
Yeah.
And then I remember my mom reminds me about this all the time. I was crying, saying, "Mom, I don't want to be a failure," because I really did not want to be a failure. And I didn't want to have to do my AS levels again. People
Twice,
before, I
yeah.
just didn't want to. There was no reason for me. All I needed to do was focus. So I think, yeah, just that fear of failing is really the biggest.
Don't
And I
mind
don't
me
want
being
to be poor.
of course, money works. You need money.
Yeah.
Money is very important in this world, it
Yeah.
is, you need money, man, to pay your bills and everything. So don't mind me being a little bit of a nosy human. So what did you do? What happened when you said after the A levels you got those results? So was that at the final end? What did you do to turn it around? Because obviously you're a success now. What did you do? Did you um did you talk to someone, or did you do anything different?
So what I had to do was make sure that I retook all my AS levels in one go. So at the time I was doing my A levels, I was retaking. So I was literally in the library every Saturday. My mum got me a tutor as well, because she saw how I'm passionate about what I wanted to do. So that's literally how I was able to come out with two B's and a C.
Wow. So you retook the exams.
Yeah, I
Wow,
retook
I didn't
all
know
of
you could
them.
do that in England. I
Yeah,
thought
I'm
once
very
you
lucky that I could. Yeah.
yeah. So like it sounds to me that passion is very important to excel in any field. Because if you didn't have the passion, you wouldn't decide, I want to do this again. It sounds like that's one of the things, apart from you being afraid to fail, because there's some people that the fear pushes them over the edge, and that's it. They're like, I'm not doing this anymore. I can't do this. But then I doff my hat to people that at that age of failure, but they're able to bring themselves back and go on to succeed. So I'm like, what is it that pulled them back from the edge? Because some people did fall over that cliff and never got back on, you know. So what was it for you? Was the passion, was, a vision that you have for your life, or
Yeah, I think it's the vision you have. You have how you want your life to be set out, but really thinking about it, it's also having a really good family, to be really honest with you,
mm,
Tolu, because yeah, although I failed, it wasn't like they turned me away. They were willing to help
mm,
me get back up. So that's really, really important. And unfortunately, not everyone has that.
how's that?
So, yeah.
Wow. Wow, that's that. Thank you very much for that, because we're Nigerians were hustlers, right? Our parents are hustlers. We've been taught that if you fail, you're in trouble. So it sounds to me like even though things were not going very well at that point, you had the family structure that were able to hold you and were able to push you on and support you. So that says to me that it's important to give your children that support. And like I say, that failure is not, we're so afraid of failure. Well, I say to people that for me, I see failure as data points where you can collect information on what you did wrong. And then you look at that information critically. What can I do to turn this around? And that's all failure is. Like someone said, that there's no real success if you've not failed.
Mm,
Because what's the how you fail, how you succeed, you don't know what failure is like. You get what I mean, right? So it's so important
I
to
love
not be
that.
a
Yeah.
yeah, not be afraid to fail, not be afraid of failure. If you have kids that are struggling, just give them the support and speak positively to them, isn't it? And that's gonna turn things around. That's gonna build passion. Once they realize, okay, mom and dad believes in me, even though I messed this up, I can still turn that around. Thank you, Zainab. That's a very important point. So, where do you see yourself in 5 years or 10 years?
That's a really good question. I hope so. I'm currently working on my professional qualification, so becoming chartered. I hope I'll be able to do that definitely by the end of next year, by the end of this year.
Mm.
Um, also looking at setting something, an organization up in Nigeria, and
Oh,
that's more
cool.
about like a STEM organization. So basically, so I do a lot of outreach here in the UK, but I think it's quite important to also go back to the country where I'm from to do things,
Yeah.
and also to set up a profit organization out there as well. So there's quite a few things that I want to do. God willing,
Mm.
yeah.
That's good. That's good. I love it when people think about giving back. It just shows that they have the right sort of values in place. And you're not just thinking about yourself, you're thinking about your community. You're talking about going back to Nigeria where you're from and giving back to them. That's really awesome. So we can say that in 5-10 years time, we'll have Zainab will be the founder of some NGO in Nigeria, has some STEM organization that is just going to be all over the news, and I can't wait to see that happen. I can't wait to see.
I love the sound of that. That sounds so good. But yeah, let's wait and see.
Yeah, why not? Like it's good to paint the vision that you want. And I believe strongly in painting the vision that you want. And once you can paint it in your head and it fits in your heart, your heart is going to keep reminding you, you said you want to do this. This is the picture. You have to do this. So somehow you end up doing it. So, how do you think you became? You were one of the top 100 selected. What was that journey like? How do you think that happened? Was it people at work that noticed you? Well, for people that are watching, are like, gosh, I like to be in that position. I like to be, I like to get that kind of recognition.
It's to be honest, it's actually not that difficult as you might think.
Hmm.
So in order to even be in that sort of in that sort of bracket, it was only because I do quite a lot of outreach, and then on top of that, I do quite a lot of technical stuff as well. So that coupled together, during that year. So that year's they were talking about innovation. So as part of my job, we're looking at sort of, rather than just demolishing a building, how can you take some bits apart and reuse it again? So one of my directors said to me, "Oh, can you please go and write a thought piece about this?" And I did. And for that was part of the submission that I could use to say, okay, I've done this and I've done this and this is what's happened. And then after that, that's when my organization started to actually put me forward for stuff. So for instance, the NCE award that I won, they asked me to go for that. And I could not believe that I would win that, because again, I don't think I do things, yeah, just because I love giving back, but not to do it to get awards. So being able to be recognized on that level was really, really cool. But I wouldn't have expected it, because I feel like what I'm doing is kind of normal anyway. It's just, you know, so yeah, that's it really.
Oh, that's awesome. You know what this sounds to me like? That when you're doing anything in life, your career, anywhere, don't try to do things to be noticed, because that's what you said. That the things you're doing are just normal. And I think the problem with people is like you're trying to get noticed, you're trying to, you're trying to be political, so they can put you forward for this or put you forward for that. But it sounded like you were just doing your normal stuff that you enjoy and love doing. And they saw you and they recommended you for stuff and put you forward for stuff. And I'm sure without you realizing it, that there must have been a level of excellence in that. There must have been focus in that. Putting your and results driven as well. So I'm sure why you feel like it's normal, because to get this sort of award, I'm sure there'll be things in place that they're looking at as well. So that says to me that wherever we are at work, whatever we do, we must be aspiring for excellence, not to be seen, but just to be excellent in what we're doing. And not because we want anyone to put us forward, but because we want, because we want to be remembered for being in that organization as being as a haven't done your work properly, done what you're supposed to do. So it reminds me of scripture that says that good name is better than riches, because it's so important to protect your name by always pushing for excellence in all that you do. So that's fantastic. Thanks for being a role model in that way. So yes, you did talk. My question was going to be, one of my next questions was going to be, how did you feel when you heard the news of your awards? How did it make you feel? Were you shocked, or were you like, oh yeah, I think I deserve that? Okay.
I think so. For the first one, I was really surprised, and although I didn't make top 50, to make top 100 was really, really awesome, because I was thinking,
Yeah.
wow, me, gosh, that's amazing. And when I won the second award, I was actually in the room when they said my name. I started laughing because I couldn't be. I was like, what?
I like that.
Yeah, I was just like, no. And like it took me like 10 seconds to get up and go and get the award. And everyone was looking at me like, what's wrong with this one? So yeah, it was a really humbling moment. I couldn't believe it when I saw my face on the screen. I said, no, that's really what me. That was quite funny. And also actually just a note on what you said about like doing things not to be noticed. So just because of the pure passion I have for like giving back and doing lots of STEM stuff, that sort of it's taken my life trajectory into a different level. So I've actually done a bit of things for like National Geographic Channel, like where they asked me to come and like give some structural engineering expertise. So yeah, it's just it's crazy how your passion can pay. It's really, really cool.
Wow, that's awesome. So yeah, I mean, getting called to National Geographic, that's a big deal, isn't it? That's a big deal. And that's gonna always be part of your profile, part of your, what you have, to share with people when you want to give talks and things like that. So that's awesome. Passion is very important, people. If you're in a job that you're just doing because of the money, you might just want to give that another thought, because guys, we live life once, and there's no point just going through the motion. There's no point just sleeping and waking up to go to a job that you're not going to leave a mark in, that you're not going to, do excellently well. Because if you don't have passion for it, it's more than likely that you're not going to, do your best at it. You see. And so once you're doing something that you love, that you're passionate about, just going to keep going. Like she said, that is pushed her to another trajectory, another level, just by starting from where she was, starting small and putting her all into that, being passionate, and people noticing the excellence that she's put into that. So if you're somewhere and you feel like what you're doing is not being noticed, let's ask that question to Zainab. If someone is somewhere and they feel like they're doing all this good work and they feel like they're putting out their best at work, but they're not being noticed, and it feels like everyone else has been noticed, or they've been skipped and they're not being called out for awards or anything, or promotions or bonuses, what would be your advice to them?
I think that's a really good question. First of all, if you feel like you're being unnoticed and you generally feel like you're doing all the work, then by all means say it, because sometimes you have to blow your own trumpet before people will start to ride with you, to be honest. And I think that's quite similar to my story. It was only after I got like that sort of top 100, that's when I got a bit more like, oh, recognition, and they started pushing me a bit forward for things. So, and no one else is gonna scream about what you do unless you do. So you have to make it clear. Do you get what I mean? But obviously you have to be very strategic. You have to come with evidence. Like you said, are you really results driven, or are you saying you're just doing all this stuff and nothing's really coming of it? But remember to be humble in everything, because nobody likes RC people. If you come across RC, no one's gonna like that. So yeah.
Wow. You said quite a number of things there. Be humble, be strategic. That means be smart and be wise, and blow your own trumpet, not in an arrogant way or in a way that's in people's face, but in a strategic way. Show the evidence of your work. Make sure that your work, you're getting the result, and show that, because then that's going to show you, that's going to put you forward, and people will have no choice but to, because the results will be there to show what you've done. And so, like, they won't be able to say anything, because I get a lot of people in the Bami community saying, oh, and then one thing though, which is what I'm so glad that you said, what you said when you said that don't be afraid to blow your own trumpet. A lot of women from the Bami community, and I've heard it said even in the Asian community as well, when culturally we've been brought up not to blow our own trumpet. We've been brought up to put our head down and just work. We've been brought up sometimes, not everyone, and I'm not saying this is everyone, but coming from Africa myself, I've seen quite a few of that. You just want to, so people tell you to do stuff, and sometimes you're taking on more than you have the capacity to. And then that's affecting the quality of your work. You're getting tired, you're not, delivering what you're supposed to deliver at work. And you're trying to be Miss Nice guy. So it's not about being nice at work, it's about showing results. And remember, the number one person you should be looking out for is yourself. I'm not saying don't be a team player, right? But you have to look out for yourself. You have to make sure that your work is being recognized as well, and you're being put forward. What do you have to say about that? Am I making any sense, Zainab? Do you agree with me?
No, I absolutely agree with you. I think we're really used to like sitting on the back burner and hoping things will happen miraculously. Sometimes it doesn't. It really doesn't. And that didn't happen. I didn't just wake up one day and everyone said, oh, she's great. It was like slowly, because they were seeing what other people thought. So the organization that I work with, the AFBE, they post things that I do on LinkedIn. So my organization were taking note. Then I got the 100. They took note. From there it sort of then skyrocketed, and then Nat Geo and everything else. Okay, but it had to come from exposing people to what you do. Say if you're doing something, say on LinkedIn, everyone will see it. Trust and believe, they'll see it. So it really is about that.
That's very important to, number one, get the results, and then let your result be seen. Okay, when we say humble, we're not saying what's that word now? Some people are like, no, I don't want anyone to know about what I've done. I just want to know, what's the point of you getting all those fantastic results? It's like I've moved from career to business for a while. And one of the greatest way of making money as a business person is social proof. And social proof is you using your customers' review, showing what you've done to the world so they can see. And that's where people can buy from you. That's just, the business side. So in the career side, it's sort of the same way. If you want to build your career, I believe that when you're getting results, share your results. Just like Zainab said, let people know that you're doing this and this is the results that you're having. So we're not going to have a very long one today. We're coming right up to the end of the questions. And I'm going to check if we have some questions in line. But I have one question for you, Zainab. If has this ever happened to you that you worked with a toxic boss who will try to put you down, who will not let you share your ideas, or who would like to steal your shine, or like take your work as their one and try to put you down? Have you ever had that experience? And if you have, how did you deal with it? Or if
I
you
love
haven't,
that
how will
question.
you advise?
So if I don't like my manager, I'm leaving. I
Wow.
am not staying. I am just not gonna. I've done it twice now. And I'm not afraid to do it again. Working with people day in, day out, 9 to 5. I have to like you. We have to like each other. We have to have a good relationship. I will not stay stay to be belittled, to be spoken to in a way I don't like, for someone to be aggressive to me. No, I will never ever stand for that. And I don't. I always advise people not to stand for it. There's so many jobs out there. You will get one by the grace of God. No. But I know it's not so easy. It's not so easy to jump ship. Like right now, I'm in a company where I really like, and jumping ship right now would scare me. It scares me a lot. But at the end of the day, it's just an organization, and you're a number. As much as I love my team and love my organization, it's very transactional. So don't let anyone let you lose sleep at night. It's not worth it, in my humble opinion.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. And like I say to people, like, my Nigerian nest, when it comes out, and I say, it's not your father's company. Don't be your papa get that company. It's not your mother's company. Just like I said, your number is statistics them. If anything happens to you, they will replace you fast. So like, don't put your health on the line, don't put your emotions, if it's a toxic place, you need to get out, because you're not going to grow if you're in a toxic place. There's no way, if you're with a toxic person that wouldn't let you grow, don't stay there. Move away from that company. There are lots of organizations out there. And like you said, I know it's scary. You're quite right about that, because you're thinking, gosh, I have to start pushing my CVs out there. I have to start doing interviews. How am I going to, but at the end of the day, you have to take bold steps to get to where you want. And if it's what you have to do, then you have to do it. And so if you need the coach, get a coach. We believe a lot in coaching, career coaching in Precious Pearl, because I've seen how, especially if you're coming in from another country and you're not aware of the culture in some sense, and you don't know how to plug yourself in, you will struggle if you don't have help, right? Even if you were born and brought up in this country as well, it's really important to have someone who's showing you how to be strategic if you naturally are not a strategic person. So someone to talk to who has an understanding and can say to you, oh, this is how you should do this. How about trying this? And don't always take advice from your friends. They're not career coaches, or they may not even be where you want to get to, unless that friend is someone who you're aspiring to be like. If you have a friend like Zainab who's like top 100 and got all the awards, and you're an engineer, sure, you talk to her, you want to be, you want to get to where she's gotten to. But if it's not someone that's advancing in any way, she can still be your friend, but not just advice for your career. Get someone who understands what you're going through and who can help you. Am I right in saying that?
Definitely, I definitely agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Zainab, can I ask one question? What's your advice to those aspiring to be like you, to achieve such goals that you've achieved? I mean, you said a lot, but there might be other things that, we can push out of you at this point in time before, because what.
Sorry about that.
No worries, no worries.
I think I think it's important to be yourself, and have a plan. Actually, when I say have a plan, I didn't really have a plan on how things were going to be. And always give back, and to be honest, if you're religious, then pray to God. Always ask God for guidance on how to do things, and the ways to go, and ask and don't just work on a 9 to 5. That won't, to be honest, that won't really get you anywhere. Think about things you can do outside of your organization to like make you do things that you're interested in.
Okay, so what sort of things would that be, like skill acquisition or like volunteering in charities that you're interested
Yeah,
in?
I
Don't
think
just be.
volunteering, exactly. If it doesn't have to be volunteering, but even maybe starting up your own organization. What are you passionate at? What are you passionate about outside of your 9 to 5? I think that's what really, if you look at people that get OBEs, MBEs, etc., or honorary degrees, they're not just people doing 9 to 5s. But then at the same time, you don't force it. If it's not something you want to do, you'll fall flat on your face and not achieve what you're trying to. Yeah. So you have to just, again, be strategic, and if you're genuinely passionate about something, definitely pursue it. Even if it's within your organization, like bring a change that you think you can bring to your organization.
Because I think that when you're doing something that you're passionate about, that's not what you normally regularly do. That passion sort of, how will I put it, makes you positive about your life because you're getting results and you're seeing results in that place. That reminds me of a talk I listened to from Chris Matthew at one point. I don't know if anyone's heard about him. He's been in the papers a lot as having being the smartest family in the UK. His kids are really smart, getting to university at what, like 7, 8 or something like that. And they've won so many awards and things like that. Something he said that inspired me was that when your child is in school, get them involved in something that they're passionate about. So it's not just about school. So if they love football, let them get in that. If they love music, let them do some. Because what that does is that it makes them so much more confident in themselves. They can see themselves doing well in these things. So it sort of crosses over to other aspects of their lives as well. And so that's not just for children. It's the same for us as adults. And I can say that, yes, I totally agree with what Zainab said, because that's been the story of my life as well. So, like, try and do things that, you're passionate about in order. You have to sometimes be adventurous, right? You have to try different things. And even if it doesn't work, it's not the end of the world. You can try something else till you find what it is that works for you. You need to be very self-aware and, know what it is that you're good at and use that to grow yourself. We have to keep growing and evolving as humans. That's what we're here on this planet for, to keep growing and keep evolving and keep growing. So yeah, that's been an amazing talk. Very, very fantastic, Zainab. And we appreciate you. And I know that your mom, I can see the little one running around in the background.
They're terrorizing me.
I had to go scream to my kids, do not come in here. I'm having a wedding. Don't even try coming in. So I totally understand. And I can see the little one wants mom to come and play or something. So we're going to let you go in a minute. Thank you so much. It's been so awesome. Your values are amazing, and all the things that you said, I agree with. So if it doesn't matter who you are, if you're listening, I've just checked and I can't see any questions online. So that's good. If you still want to talk to us, yep, come talk to us. And any member of Precious Prayer or the Inspirational Moments, if you're thinking that you're struggling in your career and you've heard something that's inspired you and something that you feel like you need more help with or you want to get more information about, just feel free to connect to us. And don't forget about what we've got going on, Career Nuggets. The founder's going to be coming next month, and we're going to be having a workshop, and we're going to have another set of coaching and grants given for career developments in January next year. So yeah, drop us an email. And one more good news that we have. So from January, we have a career grant and awards. From July, we have a business grant and awards. So if you're running a business, and so like we care about your business, if you're a business owner, we care about you. If you're a career person, we care about you. We want everyone to succeed. If you're a business owner like myself, you're an entrepreneur, and you need help, or you've been looking at starting something. Zainab just said something that start something on the side. That's what I tell everyone. Don't be a one income person. Have multiple income streams. Start something on the side. So if you need help with that, you want to know how to get a business going. We're starting up business grants and awards in July, and it's gonna you're gonna have lots of things if you apply for them. You're selected. The coaching, there's going to be business coaching to help you through starting and launching your business. There's going to be pairing you up with a business that's doing what you're doing, so they can sort of mentor you. So yeah, don't leave it too late. We don't usually have a lot of slots. We normally just select one or two people. So if you're listening on and you're thinking, oh, I'd like to be a part of this, please, please, please send your application, cover letter, and a simple business plan that you have, or the simple vision you have for your business, to info@preciouspearl.co.uk. If you have any questions at all, send your questions info@preciouspearl.co.uk, or send us a DM or a chat. Thank you, Zainab. Do you have any last words for our listeners today before we zoom off?
I think the most important thing is for everyone to run their own race. You look at people and think, oh wow, you want to be like them, but everyone has their own story and everyone has the reason why they've gone through that route. So find what works for you, run your own race, and yeah, keep praying.
Oh, wow. Awesome. I was listening to someone, don't mind me, I'm always listening to different people this afternoon. And I'm serious, guys. I'm not even lying. I was listening to this woman, and she's an international speaker and a preacher. I was listening to her on Instagram. She said exactly the same thing. Like, nobody is great from day one. And you've just got to run your own race. Never ever be envious of anyone's success, because you don't know their journey. It took them a whole lot to get to where where they're at. And your journey might be very different from that. God might be you might be able to get there faster, quicker, but God has another route, another way. So you can never be envious of other people's journey. And you can never start from the top. You're gonna start little, but you're gonna keep pushing and keep believing. Strong belief in yourself. Hard faith. That's what my mom calls it. You've got to have hard faith. Keep believing and keep doing the work and believe in the process. And something the lady said was that only grave diggers start from the top. Everyone else builds from the bottom up. So, like, you've just got to believe in yourself, start small, and keep pushing. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. We're going to sign up now. Thank you, Zainab. We really appreciate you. I know you're a busy person,
Thanks
your
for
mom
having
and all that.
me. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Get best. And we hope you join us in July.
Yes, yes.
Fantastic. Thank you, everyone, for joining in today. God bless you guys, and see you soon. That's a wrap. Bye.